Aloha, and welcome to Health and Healing with Soul Wisdom. My name is Paul Fletcher, and I am a master healer and teacher. I've trained as a master healer and teacher for the past several years. My mentor is Dr. and Master dr.sha, and I've been certified by the Institute of Soul Healing and Enlightenment. Now, this is probably the 10th or so Olelo recording that I've done. And what I'm excited about today is I've heard some feedback from some of the members who have been enjoying watching the previous shows. They said they've learned a tremendous amount about health and healing with soul wisdom. But one of the things that they wanted to know a little bit more about was, how does the soul healing work? Why does soul healing work? And what is the soul? So I'm going to start with sharing with you what my teacher has taught. Now, my teacher is Dr. and Master dr.sha. And Dr. and Master Sha, when he created his program, he had trained in China since the age of 6. He is a I Ching master, grandmaster, a Feng Shui grandmaster, Tai Chi and Qigong grandmaster. He was trained under the highest level teachers in the highest modalities, and he learned about the human condition. What makes the human being ill? What makes them healthy? And he came to the conclusion of 5,000-year-old wisdom that everything has a soul. Now, for a lot of people, that might be an unusual experience. Everything has a soul. How is that possible? You know, I thought only humans have a soul. What is important to understand in the soul healing wisdom is that everything comes from the same source. Everything comes from Creator. I doubt that you'd have a disagreement with that. So that also means that the pet, your favorite pet, it has a soul. What about a plant? Does a plant have a soul? Here's one thing that's very interesting for you. Back in the 1920s and 30s, when they had the very beginnings of lie detectors, they would actually put these lie detectors, clips, these metal clips, on the ends of plant leaves. And they would play loud, boisterous music, and the plant would literally respond. And they would play soft music, and the plant would respond. They would say loving things to the plant, and the plant would respond. And they would say horrible things to the plant, and the plant would respond. And the response was consistent. Each time they said something negative to the plant, it responded with a very low energy signal. But when they said loving, beautiful things to the plant, it responded with a very beneficial and positive signal. This was back in the 1920s. So everything has a soul. That also includes inanimate objects. Now, what do I mean by inanimate objects? That means things like a grain of sand. That means things like plastic. That means like the television set that you're watching. How could that possibly have a soul? This might fly in the face of what you understand. But again, we go back to a basic understanding that the divine, the creator of all life, created everything. That includes what went in to make that plastic. What was it made out of? It was made out of cells, atomic energy, particles. Those coagulated, made a form. More of those forms coagulated and made a particle. Those particles coagulated and made a piece of plastic, or made a piece of sand, or made a rock, or made whatever. So everything has the spark of the divine in it. So when we say everything has a soul, you can start to understand that it's not an unrealistic assumption. And this particular program is built around health and healing with soul wisdom. So the core of this teaching is understanding that everything has a soul. Now, when it comes to the human understanding, humans, their soul is the boss. You see, I created a little slideshow, and one of the things that it wants to point out is that the physical life and the spiritual life are very interconnected. And when somebody operates through the physical life, we have food, sleep, issues, we have the job, we have our relationships, finances, we have all kinds of physical things that we work with on a daily basis. So in the physical life, we very often put very little attention to the soul or spiritual life. The physical life, the Chinese would say, is the yang world. And in heaven, that would be the yin world. Well, the question becomes, what is first? Is the soul first? Is the mind first? Or is the body first? If we heal the body, did we resolve the initial core problem? So the focus that I'd like to put this on is that soul is the boss. When we came from the heavens and came into this physical experience, we came with a blueprint, the intention to do something on this earth. Now, there are many different trains of thought around that. What I've been taught and what I believe, I'm not asking you to believe. If it resonates with you, then you may choose to accept it. But what I believe is that we come in to clear off debts and to create more positive benefits to all souls in all planets, all universes, everywhere. Since we're all one, my neighbor, we still all come from the same place. Every soul on this earth came from the same place. We were one in the heart of God. And when we came into this physical experience, we became individuals, much like we're all part of the ocean until that wave crashes against the shore, and then the spray comes out. Imagine that you're a human saying, I'm separate, I'm me. I'm not you, I'm me. Well, you're just like that little spark, that little splash of wave that flew out when the wave hit the ground. But as soon as that speck of water comes back into the ocean, guess what? You're one with everyone else. So using that as the foundation of these teachings, we want to recognize that not only does everything have a soul, but our body has a soul, our organs have souls, our systems have souls, our cells have souls, our RNA and DNA have souls. The most important understanding about that is a soul carries message. So I'm going to ask our engineer to flash to the point that I put out there. And it's going to talk about how the human being lives by physical laws and the soul must abide by those same spiritual laws. The spiritual laws come before the physical laws. When we address the soul first, then the mind and body must follow. And part of the understanding is the soul comes in with limitations and blockages. Some of those limitations and blockages include health issues, like cancer. Take, for example, when somebody has pain in their arm, a knee pain that's been there for 15, 20 years. Why did that occur? Well, again, you may or may not choose to accept this answer, but the teachings that I work with state that there's such a thing as karma. What comes around goes around. So it's a good possibility that at some point in this lifetime or in a previous one, you may have made choices that were detrimental to somebody's knees. Maybe it was in wartime. Maybe you were a knight in shining armor and you took joy in hurting other people by taking them out at the legs. So this comes back in the form of knee pain to you in this experience. This is what's called a soul-level blockage. That's just one example. There are many examples, but we won't go into too many of those right now. Once you understand that everything has a soul and that the soul is first, if you address healing on the soul level first, then the mind and body will follow. Now, one of the things that I really appreciate most about this wisdom is that when you heal the soul first, the mind and the body will follow. So let's talk a little bit more about this. The soul is over the mind and the matter. Everything comes from the Creator, as we've indicated. Therefore, everything has a soul, as we've indicated. But what a lot of people don't know is that every single soul in your body, every cell soul, every unit soul, every RNA and DNA soul, your organ soul, your heart soul, your brain soul, your body soul, they all came with a message. That message should be love, because love heals all blockages. Love is the source, the Creator. That's where we came from. But sometimes the message gets changed. For example, if you have sore back, you hurt your back. And so you start saying things like, my back is killing me. Now, what kind of a message is your back getting? It used to come in with a message of love, but now it's getting a message of suffering. How many people say, I have a bad knee? a bum knee. Very common saying. But what are you reinforcing with that message? Soul over mind over matter includes several features. Now, there are inner souls and outer souls. I'm going to ask our engineer to show this for you so you can get a little more information on what I mean by that. Inner souls and outer souls. We talked about the inner souls of the body, RNA, DNA, etc. But a lot of people have no argument with the fact that there's outer souls. Outer souls include God, Jesus, Buddha, Mother Mary, island kahunas, gurus, sifus, saints, angels. They all have souls. What about whales and dolphins? Do they have a soul? Absolutely. The mountains have a soul. The sun and the moon has a soul. And all of these souls, and every soul in your body, and my soul, have one thing in common. That one thing in common is that we're all here to serve. Jesus is here to serve you. Buddha is here to serve you. I am here to serve you. Every cell in your body is here to serve you. One of the most important teachings that I've ever heard in my life came from my master and teacher, dr.sha. And you know how many of us, we go up to the mountain, we climb to the very top, and we ask the guru sitting at the top of the mountain, what is the meaning of life? A lot of us did that when we go through our teenage years. What's the meaning of life? All this angst, suffering, emotions, everything. What's the meaning of life? I'm not saying this is the answer, but it's one that resonated with my heart. And I received it when I read one of my teacher's books. And he said the meaning of life, the purpose of the soul journey is to serve the purpose of the physical life is to serve your soul's journey. The purpose of your soul's journey is to serve. How beautiful is that? The purpose of the soul's journey is to serve. So, what does that mean? You're sitting on a chair right now watching this TV show. Is that chair serving you? I would say yes. It's supporting you. It's keeping you comfortable. It is raising its soul standing. It's raising its purpose in life. Your cells are serving you. Collectively, they work as a union. Do you think each one of your cells says, I'm alone, I don't need to talk to the cell next to me? No, they all work in unity. So is humanity. We must learn to work in unity. Part of that is calling in the outer souls to help us. So when I show you how to do this healing practice, you ask the inner souls and the outer souls to offer assistance. Do you think Jesus doesn't want to help you? Do you think God doesn't want to help you? Why not ask them for help? Why not ask the soul of your knee, if your knee is in pain, to also serve you? You could ask all the souls to help serve your knee pain. They want to serve also, because every soul's purpose is to serve. Why does it want to do that? Because it wants to raise its soul standing so that it can return to the heart of the divine. Because more love raises a soul's standing. That's why all souls want to serve. Now, when I go to the next frame, I'd like you to read that the soul includes communication with both inner and outer souls, and soul-mind-body medicine is effective because it uses 4 powers. I want to show you